It's a pleasure seeing you guys again.
Hey.
First of all, the film is fantastic, so congratulations on that. The last time we spoke, I think when I spoke with you, you were portraying a real individual, and you were portraying basically a character with a large fandom behind it. Is there a heightened level of intimidation between playing a real character or someone with a fandom behind it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like there's a pressure on your shoulders. I mean, not only to crack the accent, but also, these were historical. This was an historical event, and James Douglas, for instance, is a legendary, notorious warrior for Scotland. So, yeah, you want to, but you also want to give them humility. You want to humanize them and find where are they? When they're being this sort of legendary mythological character, where can they be normal people too? So yeah, there's a lot of pressure, I think.
He's 700 some odd years old, or 600 some odd years old, so that obviously no one knew him that's still alive. There are no memoirs about him, and most of the stuff written about him is just hagiography and apocryphal stories about him and a spider. And so I had to go off of this constellation of dates and events and what he did, and then try to understand why maybe he did it. The complexity there was the most interesting to me, because whereas obviously this film will get compared to Braveheart, and there's a beautiful moral monochromism there, which is there's the evil baddie and then the really courageous Mel Gibson.
Sure.
This starts with a man that doesn't seem all that courageous at all, and whose loyalties you're suspect of from the start, and then all of a sudden he changes and becomes a freedom fighter and wins independence for his country. But I leave the theater always thinking, yes, he's a kind man, it seems, and he's a man of humility, but he's also a strategist, and he's power hungry, and he led a couple of his brothers to death, and so he just seemed complexly, beautifully human, that people can be all things at once, and that's what I wanted to portray.
One of the things I love about period pieces are the sets and the props themselves. If you could take one prop away from this, what would you take with you?
Actually, we was gifted our weapons.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I have mine. Do
You have yours?
Yeah. So I got
What?
two. I got about 3 swords off the back of this thing.
Oh, that's fun. I gotta talk to someone about that.
Maybe yours is still stuck in customs. I don't know.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it could be. Well, David, he's such a stickler for authenticity, is that, usually in chainmail flicks, the chainmail is made out of one portion metal and then a lot of rubber. So it's not heavy. This was all chainmail.
Oh, wow.
So we had about 40 pounds of chainmail for Sam and Billy, and the bad guys who were in full kit probably had about 100 pounds of real metal. It also just goes to show you how uncomfortable battle must have been.
Sure.
There was no Gore-Tex, it was just really miserable.
You give a great battle speech before the grand finale, and you have one of the greatest battle cries I think I've ever seen on film. Is there something or someone that you were channeling as you were giving both those?
Well, I hope I was channeling the
Black Douglas?
Yeah. I think when you're out there and you're in the beautiful Highlands, and this landscape is so beautiful, and you're in the chainmail and all the get up, and there are guys screaming at the top of their lungs, I think you can't help but sort of channel that time and that era and kind of be connected to that. So hopefully, we all went as far as we could,
Well, yeah, that last battle speech I wrote because I was so obvious. The greatest battle speech of all time is Braveheart, no loss. And so David came up to me that day. He gave me the speech, and I was like, "That's not going to happen, pal. I got to figure out something that is the anti-speech." And I guess I thought about what I would want to hear, and I've been reading a lot of Yuval Harari, who wrote a book called Homo Sapiens, Homo Deus, and this idea of fictions, and that man as the sapien is brought together by myth, by fiction, by story, and we like to hear stories about dying for nations and states. It's these things that build the collective threads that bind us together. And I thought, how interesting would it be to hear a speech where he's like, forget all of it and just look at that hill.
Yeah.
And at that hill, men are stronger, and they're going to run real fast at you and then try to kill you.
Yeah.
Do you want to die? Good luck. Just thought that was like, yeah, that just about basically gets down to the nuts and bolts of it.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Absolute pleasure seeing you guys again.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Cheers.